It's the NFL Spread Pod. It's Holden. It's Rubio. It's Titletown. Hanging out with you today. We got a lot to talk about. These young quarterbacks that are starting to get their shot now, like Trey Lance and Justin Fields. We got some bet that I'm sure we're coming up that I'm going to end up losing that we can talk about as well. RubioDimes. Apparently, there's something going on where BigT is giving us money. Hoop, AP, and BigT. And 1st through 15th win something. And then he said the 16 through 40 get better. So that's what we got to do is get better, I guess. What's up?
Oh, I'm happy. And that's great news to start your day with. You know, you look at it, you see 2,500 at the top. You know, maybe my Hideki giblets will keep on running further and further. He won the Masters. So I'm really excited for this week, you know, and we got to put down a little bet here. Maybe another chip,
Okay.
Maybe another something.
Can we try and build the worst lineup possible?
No.
But the guys have to play. Like, should I go Mac Jones or Taysom Hill? I'm not going to do that lineup. I'm just saying we should try to build the worst possible.
Nice little
lineup.
low ball.
Yeah, that would be great. What's up, Title? What's happening in Title's world? NBA's coming back soon. You got to be excited about that. NFL in full swing. Packers, Bengals. Talk to us. What's going on in your life?
Well, I currently just got up from a nap 15 minutes ago. So if you want the real up-to-date,
Nice.
Oh, it was very, very nice nap. And then I woke up to that coordinator's news about BigT, about the free roll, 40 people. Had to make sure I joined that right away. Special shout out to them. I know they did it last year for the Masters where they gave us 2 golfers. Now we get to build our lineups, which should be a lot of fun. I'm down to run back the chip challenge with you and Rubio if that's how we want to do
not
it.
Doing it again.
Yes.
That ice cream meme and
you
everything.
You guys should do a head-to-head.
No, we want you involved.
If the bet's in, you're involved for a certain
This time
reason.
I want a spread. I want like 20 points.
No.
God.
You're
I'm not doing it. I want 20
right.
points. And I've been doing pretty well this year, but no. I'm
exactly.
Not. I got to play a tournament lineup against you guys to have any shot. So I'm good. 18 and a half points.
I will be playing my cash lineup in that thing. I will tell you that for free.
Really?
It's 40 people in it. Yeah, of course.
Ooh, you don't want to win first.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I switch it a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. But it's 40 people, so they pay out 16. So there's some days that you're cash line. Anyway, over here in Title's world, yeah, it's pretty good. I was hoping we were going to get Stephon Gilmore to the Packers. Now it sounds like Jalen Smith. We are number one. Hear that all the time. Who knows how far that is, but number one Packers list. That's looking like the Packers might get Jalen Smith. So that'd be really something. Our GM is that it's already confirmed. I saw 15 minutes.
Yeah, they got him.
Oh, literally a minute ago, my buddy just texted our group chat too. We got him. So, hey, Packers getting Jalen Smith. The defense definitely needs some help. Jair hopefully is going to be back sooner rather than later. I saw he's feeling better, and he's maybe this week he's optimistic, but probably sit him out this week, play next week. But hey, very good news on air a minute ago. We're recording this at 5:52 Eastern right now. Packers get Jalen Smith, so good to see.
Good to see for you. I mean, We'll see if he's any good, if he's got anything left too.
I mean, can't be worse than what we're rolling with.
It is bad that what you're rolling with, huh? It'll be an interesting game this week too, because we're going to find out if Cincinnati's really as good as what they've been showing lately. Packers are playing better ball now. They're back to where they were. Those first 6 quarters were painful to watch, Title, but the Packers are back, right, Mr. Packer backer?
Yeah, I mean, I was never worried, but like when you have Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, like you have Lambeau Field always, I mean, you're going to be in contention, especially in a division like that. So, yeah, I mean, they're back, but they're definitely not like Super Bowl favorites or people that are talking in the if you list 3 teams, people aren't saying the Packers like it has been in the past couple of years. So they still got room for improvement, but Jalen Smith could be a big add.
Rubio, let's talk about this coordinator's free roll for a second here, because you looked at Title when he said, I'm just going to play my cash lineup. And you said, that's crazy, man. Don't you want to win? So it's 40 people, but I'm sure he wants to win. You're saying you got to roll a tournament lineup out there to win this thing.
I think you do, just because you're going against 4 of the others who, know fantasy, at least to a degree. Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone's going to come out here with a really low scoring lineup and you're going to kind of have a low bar to beat. I think if you want to get first, you kind of go for it. You got to go for it. I just don't think, the the level of competition that we have here. Not that competition really matters too much, but it's going to be a little escalated. We're all coordinators. We all love the NFL. So I think it'll be fun, but cash lineup, and I'm not trying to finish 10th for $20. I'm trying to win first for 2,500.
First for 2,500.
I will say though, like, yeah, the coordinator and stuff, but I mean, like, Steve Boyton's in there. I mean, he's watching NFL on Sundays. I don't even know if he does NFL. Susie, I don't know if, I mean, like, so like there's people that are niche sports experts that are now having to play in NFL. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying
they got access to the best content, man.
I know exactly, but then maybe you see some
Susie. That makes me sick to my stomach.
She was the second
one.
She was the
second. Can I get that Susie beats title?
I went Steve because I know Steve's baseball.
Stevie
watching
Boynton
it.
hates the NFL.
I know Susie's college football and tennis. Okay. I don't know if she's NFL. And then
she's definitely NFL, dude. She's everything. She plays with the chords. I tell you, she's
badass.
She's savvy.
I literally, that was the second one that came. I don't know if anyone. Maybe Steve rolls NFL. I don't know. It's just,
I kind of want odds. I want to give odds on if they'll beat you or not.
Sure. I mean, throw some out there.
I'll do 50 apiece.
On those two? Okay.
On those two. 50
Hold on a second. You think Susie and Steve Boynton are beating title?
If Susie beats title and Steve loses the title, it's a break even. But if they both win, 100. If they both lose, I owe title 100.
Sure.
There we go. We got some action already.
Are you now going to be helping Susie and Stevie beat him?
I don't think they need my help personally.
Rubio's going to play Justin Fields with. Rubio's going to play Fields with 3, so he's not going to be beating me either.
You know what? I'm down for another 50. Me and you.
That's all right. I was hoping you'd say like 100? A little 500 action a piece on them all, 100. But you and I, 100 straight up, and then 100. 50 and 50 for the other two.
You know who I need to beat? That sandbag and son of a bitch, Uncle T. That's
you
know do. What?
I got some action on that.
That's it. Me and Uncle T are going head to head. I'm sick of this. Now he'll probably steal his nephew's second best lineup because that's the type of person that Uncle T is. But that's really the only person I need to beat at RPS is Uncle T. If that gets me in first, fine. If it gets me in 10th, fine. I can finish 39th. If Uncle T's 40th, I'm going to be happy. That's absolutely the only person I want to beat here.
Hopefully you get it done. Rubio, write down the bet. Holden, remember it, which you probably won't, but I probably won't.
You know what? Everything's good. It's the afternoon.
It
I'm clear of mind.
Okay.
I'm locked in here. So
remember,
it's only 50. It's only 50, Rubio, 50 per?
50 per, and then me and title's 100.
Okay. Head to head.
Now my head-to-head lineup is 100% in that thing.
Oh man!
Now your what lineups in there? What'd you say?
My head-to-head lineup's 100% in that thing.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Which I was already probably gonna do, but
all right, head-to-head lineup is in there. Then you got 50 that Susie beats him. So you could be out $200, but you could also be up $200. The title just has a complete shit show. Title, how many weeks a year? Let's be serious here. Like, how many weeks a year does it just go haywire? It happens to everybody. Like,
yeah,
happens, right?
Yeah, last year I mean I'd have to go back. Like, if you count it by like profitable weeks or negative weeks, like it's kind of misleading in DFS because I mean head-to-heads and all that stuff. But like 1 week you could lose $50 and you count as a losing week or whatever. But last year probably. I think I might have even lost more than I won. I mean, last year was tough for me. The year before, I think I went 14-3 or 15-2 on Sundays. Like, it was one of the best years. So it all varies. So far this year, I'm 2-2, maybe 3-1 slightly. But like, yeah, the first 3 weeks were kind of low. Like, I didn't lose much. Maybe I lost lost 5% of my whatever I put in, and then whatever. Then last week I finally broke out, and it was a really good week. But it's been and then it's been a good one.
I'm basically even through 4 weeks. Week 1 was a disaster. 2 and 3 were very good. Week 4 was a disaster. Let's bounce back week 5.
You'll always take that.
Yeah, Rubio, what's up?
$100 on Uncle T right now. So here we go. I'm starting to get.
You just bet Uncle T $100?
No. I get against him.
Oh, you got $100 from Uncle T. You're just gonna bet everybody.
I'll take anyone.
Why don't we just bet like 1,000 so you get more action?
I'd rather spread that action out. I'm not gonna. I'm not a cash player. I'm gonna spread this action out.
You know what? Yeah. Tell Uncle T, me and him are head to head as long as he doesn't steal Big T's lineup. And
he won't steal.
You might as well call him, put him on the phone, but make sure that the conversation's only 2 or 3 minutes. So people in the YouTube chat.
Put him on the phone, Rubio. Tell him you need to speak to him on the phone. Even though I had enough of him last night. My God. I mean, the guy's just he's relentless. He doesn't stop. Just shut the mouth already, Uncle T. It's so much. Yeah,
here we go. We're giving him a call here.
I'll go 100 head-to-head. Plus, I got 100 against AP. I got Buffalo +3. He's on the Chiefs.
Oh, he's putting this in
Uncle T, you're on the NFL spread right now.
Hey, Uncle T, go screw yourself.
Holden wants $100 against you.
Holden's money's no good with me. I'm watching.
Don't be afraid. Don't be a pussy, Uncle T.
They just want action.
I want action.
I know Title doesn't want action against me. Me and Title are tight.
I won't take it. I want
Holden's money at all. His money's no good.
You're afraid is what it is. And that's kind of sad that you act so macho, but you're being a pussy and you won't go head to head with me.
Why'd you have to use the P? Why you gotta get so nasty?
Because you've been nasty. You've been hurting my feelings all season long. So $100 head to head, tournament of coordinator free roll.
Wishbone for 5 weeks. What do you mean?
The what?
And hey, you know what? I might do it because you could use that $100 and get you a new bookcase that's behind you because that thing sucks.
We talked about that the other night. I will not build a bookcase. It's just not happening. Sure. Uncle T, $100 head-to-head coordinator free roll. Take it.
No, I just said I'm out.
He said no.
Want your money. I don't
take it, Uncle T.
Take
it, Uncle T. It's free money.
You know what? We're done with Uncle T on the show. He has his own podcast. We did it last night. All right. Bye, Uncle T.
Thanks, Uncle T.
How weak is that? He's afraid to lose to me. Rubio, what was that? He's literally afraid to lose to me, isn't he?
I don't know. I'm shocked that he would take money from me, but not you.
I'm not. I think he's afraid, and he knows I'll upset him. Everybody is thinking that Uncle T can beat me. I know the mediocre DFS player that he is, and I could totally get him. I don't even know why the guy has cores. You know what I'm saying? I should take his cores.
Hey, Uncle T's the hottest knee house in the family right now. I ain't gonna lie.
That ain't saying much.
Come on now.
He is not the hottest knee house. Not in football. He's good at football.
Hey, he's good at anything right now.
Uncle T.
Anything he touches, it turns to gold. He's got the Midas touch.
So disappointing.
Except betting on NBA basketball against Titletown. Ask him how that went.
Oh, that's another time, isn't it?
What happened?
He knows though.
What happened?
The Knee House boys picked on the wrong guy throughout the NBA playoffs against Titletown. It was a good one over here when they hate the Suns for as long as they play, and then the Bucks, they finally hop on the Suns against my Bucks, and I have to back them in the championship.
That's right.
I ran pretty pure in the NBA playoffs.
Ah, yes. All right. If Uncle T doesn't want to go, that's fine. It's sad that he's afraid of me, and it's nice to live rent free in his head. So that's all I could say about Uncle T. All right, boys, let's get into some football discussion here. Just to recap, head to head, Rubio versus Title, $100. I'm not doing this again, by the way, because I did a hot chip last time. If Title beats Susie, that means Title gets $50 more from Rubio, and then vice versa. If Susie,
I wouldn't mind throwing in the hot chip Title if you want to do a head to head on the hot chip.
No.
That's
not worth it. Watching you in pain is 100% not even close to the risk of me having to be in that pain. So you will not get me on that one.
All right, fair enough.
And I want to make it clear for Susie and Steve Boyd, I'm not sure if they even played NFL. So I was listing names getting there, and Rubio, and of course Holden likes to throw some fuel on the fire. He wanted the best for you guys. So if you're watching, which you probably aren't, but if so, you probably understand by now. But $50, me and Steve, $50 Susie and I, and then $100 with Rubio.
Yeah. Okay, well that's good. Susie Sue's definitely in the mix to take you down.
Oh, they all are. I mean,
No, not
it's
Stevie,
not like
not Boynton, not Uncle T. If Uncle T is too afraid to challenge me, how's that guy finishing in the top 20? I mean, get better, Uncle T. So sad.
now he's gonna ship it. Now you know he's absolutely gonna ship it.
No, he's not. He is not winning that thing. I mean, I might have to make a bet with him. Like, he won't even finish top 10. He's not even top 25% at RPS. And he shouldn't even have cores. I mean, seriously, if you're ducking me, how do you get – that's nepotism. The only reason he's got his core is because he shares blood with the big man. You don't believe that, Rubio?
No, not one bit. Nepotism, while we're throwing that word around, too.
That was a little
started with the quarterbacks, damn it.
So let me ask you guys something. Oh, RPS Heater 25. That's the code if you haven't signed up yet. 25% off your first monthly payment. You get these guys' cores. You get the cash chart. You get the playbook. Gives you all the information you need. Plus, this year we added the player pools. Big T's player pool. JSU's player pool. All our guys' player pools. They're in there too. RPS Heater 25. 25% off your first month's payment. Oh, boy. You know what, Rubio? You have sparked a lot of controversy and tension in this show. So I'm going to go to Title first. He's very relaxed. He's coming off a nap. First of all, you fresh yet, or are you still waking up?
Oh, I'm fresh. It was probably like a hour and a half, 2 hour nap. It was golden.
Nap. That is the best type of nap.
I nap a lot.
What do you want to do with Fields and Lance this week? Lance might start for the Niners. Matt Nagy was probably forced by Ryan Pace to start Justin Fields this week. Can we make a case here to play either or both of these guys this week?
Yeah, I mean, right when you open the slate, you look at it, and a lot of the really good teams and good players aren't on the slate, with the Rams and Seahawks on Thursday night. So that takes out Russ and Stafford and the big names, DK and Lockett and stuff. Then you look at Sunday night, they got the Chiefs and Buffalo. So there's Josh Allen, Mahomes, Tyreek, Kelsey. You got Lamar Jackson on Monday night and stuff. So, like, the biggest of the names are off the slate, which then you go to quarterback and look at it. Like, those are the names that I really want to pay up for usually. The Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen's of the world. So now if I'm looking all the way up, like Dak 69, Herbert 68, but they aren't in, like, the smash spots or necessarily, like, the best matchups they could be. So I think paying downs, which I haven't done all week or all year so far. Tournaments once in a while, I mix in a Sam Darnold, who's treated me well, but I haven't really paid down too much at quarterback. I think it's very viable this week. And if I have to pick one of the two, so Lance is at 5,700 and Fields, what is he sitting at? I'm not seeing him.
I just had him.
53.
He is at 5,200.
Again, Fields 52.
Yeah.
52 on DK.
Yeah, so I'm not going to go back to Fields. In the two games, I haven't seen the upside there yet. I know Dave Montgomery's out a little bit, so they're going to need to rely on his arm a little more, maybe stuff. But I just think at 5,200, to be honest, I'd rather play Mac Jones at 5,300. I'd rather play Trey Lance for sure at 5,700, who I like. You know, the Cardinals are going to put up points, and Lance is going to have to put up points with them. He has all the rushing upside as we saw in the second half, so I think it's clearly would be Lance over Fields, but like I said, I would take Mac Jones over Fields. I would take Baker Mayfield probably over Fields. Heineke probably over Fields. Like, I'm just not going to touch Fields right now this week. I just haven't seen the upside yet. I need to see a little more. So I'll take a wait and see approach on him. There's plenty of other options in the 5K range. Even Daniel Jones at 6K against Dallas. I love his rushing upside. Like, I think there's so many better options that are safer. So yes to Lance, no to Fields.
Rubio, any of these rookies, any interest here?
Trey Lance, because you know how the Cardinals play an up-tempo game. Trey Lance loves to get it done on the ground. That's huge for me. And I just think we look at Fields, we just haven't seen the rushing upside that we would have wished. And I just think that's more of a design by Nagy than it is anything else. But Lance, 7 rushes, 41 yards, also got it done. You know, his arm, what is it called? Arm talent probably isn't there completely yet. In terms of like trying to find the open receiver and stuff. But the biggest thing, hitting the wide receivers and running that ball, even if it's only a limited amount of time. But I'll take 50 yards on the ground and even a touchdown. That's going to be good enough to pay the tag. But you look around him and you have like Joe Burrow on the Bengals, who's implied, 24 points. And they really look good in that second half against the Jaguars. I'm not sold on this Green Bay defense at all, and I'm sure Title can kind of echo that. I think that the Bengals are going to start getting into this throw first strategy. And this is, something that they should have done since week 1, but no Joe Mixon this week means that Perrine and that backfield just that much weaker, and that they should rely on, Burrow just that much more. I'm thinking I'm going to be here in the 6K range. So like Lance and Joe Burrow make my builds, but there's one other guy who's kind of catching my eye, and that's Daniel Jones, just because I'm not a believer in the Cowboys defense at all. And the fact that Sam Darnold just exploded for 36 against them, and he's a very similar, wanting to run the ball and, at least finding the open receiver every now and then. So I'm kind of stuck in between this 5.7 and 6.1K region.
So let's move up. Let's move up the chart here, Title, because Dak Prescott at 6,900, looking like he's in a nice spot. I want to get your thoughts on Daniel Jones at 6K, though, because he had a down week 2 weeks ago, and then he explodes last week. I still don't think he's a good real-life quarterback, but in fantasy, if he's getting me 29, 30 points at 6K against Dallas, I am not going to mind that. Thoughts on your boy Aaron Rodgers? Kyler Murray's always in play. Jalen Hurts with a spectacular floor. I mean, he's got at least 20, 21 points in every single one of his starts to this point. So, and if A.J. Brown is back, can you roll with Tannehill? So all these guys, just start going through the list, pal.
Yeah, I'll start with Daniel Jones. I mentioned him briefly at the end. He's a very strong play at 6K. I was really high coming into the season. I mean, in best balls, ADP was like 185 or 190. And this whole Giants offense, I ended up, I think I had like 45% Daniel Jones in 150 best ball teams. And people just didn't realize his rushing equity and upside like he's finally shown. And I mean, he can run. He has weapons on the outside. Now, yeah, they're a little banged up, but they do get Evan Ingram back. Saquon's finally starting to get in the rhythm and stuff, which always helps the passing game. I think he's a very strong play against this Dallas defense, where they're definitely better than we thought preseason, but I think they right now might be a little overrated, and I don't think they're a top 5 defense like I've seen some people say, and now Jalen Smith and stuff too. So I'm good picking not picking on the Cowboys, but at 6K in a matchup like that with his rushing upside on a slate with all the other studs, I think he's very much in play. If you're going all the way up, Kyler Murray's always in play. He's 8K. I probably won't find myself going all the way up there. There's the big dog, Devontae Adams, some other positions with good spend ups. But anytime Kyler Murray, which is going to be pretty low owned, he's 8K. I think you can definitely do worse than that. Aaron Rodgers, no thank you. I haven't played him all year on a main slate. They like Aaron Jones too much. I can get A.J. Dillon involved. He doesn't have rushing upside anymore. So I'm not going to really play him this year. Better real life quarterback. The two I'd pay up for, yeah, Dak Prescott and Justin Herbert are my favorite. I'll throw Jalen Hurts right in there as well, but I love Herbert. I have a future bet that the Chargers win the Super Bowl. I think they're one of the best coach teams in the league. Justin Herbert's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They have Mike Williams. They have Eckler. They have Keenan Allen. They go for it on fourth, and you're supposed to. Derwin James is back. Like, give me Justin Herbert. He's going to go far, I think. I think he's a stud. 6,800, I'll play him against Cleveland if nobody will. I think he'll pick apart the defense, pass first team. So give me Herbert. Dak Prescott, yeah, right in that same game. I really like this Cowboys-Giants game. Then, yeah, Hurts. I mean, can't argue with his floor and his rushing upside. This Carolina defense, though, I'd rather go Dak and Herbert this week because just of the matchups, but I think he's fine. So, yeah, I think I listed a lot of guys. Daniel Jones, very strong, and below that we mentioned. Otherwise, yeah, I rank them Herbert, Dak, Hurts, and then Kyler if you have the money.
All right, let's do this, Rubio. Top shelf guys, who are you looking at? I know, hold on, you said you were going to play Trey Lance this week?
Probably in that mid-tier range for sure.
I mean, he did score 20 points in a half action, right? So 7 rushes for 41 yards. I lean with you on Lance. I'm a little higher on him than I am with than Title is, but we also don't even know if he's gonna.
I said I like Lance. He's in consideration at 57.
Fields was late, yeah.
I'm not playing Fields.
No, don't play Fields. All right, let's do this, Rubio. Quarterback.
I don't see myself spending up for Kyler here. It's not because of I think Kyler is bad or anything. It's just if I can save 2K and get a quarterback who I think has similar upside, or a similar performance projection, I should say, because Kyler has the most upside in any slate, no matter what it is. But like you look at it, it's Kyler and then it's everyone else. And I just don't see myself having 8K to spend at the quarterback spot, despite him being so great. I don't really see who I can stack him with. It's not as clear as the others and stuff. And like, it's just not something that I'm very interested in. I like the Dak mentioned, but even then they've been running the ball a lot more lately, and CD Lamb and Amari Cooper have underwhelmed completely. As a person who ran it back with CD Lamb last week, I was very disappointed by it. But it's just one of those things where I still see myself not even going above the 6.5 range is probably where I'll cap it. And that's just because Tannehill threw the ball 49 times. I mean, we saw them get, against the Jets. The Jets just stacked the box against Derrick Henry and forced the Tennessee Titans to throw. That could happen again. The Jags defense is awful. We saw the Bengals get 4 possessions in the second half and scored all 4 times. I think that could be something that's very similar. And with Urban Meyer losing the locker room, basically, I think that the Jaguars could be tagged with 42 here even. I truly think that this Titans spot is like the nut spot. And I don't want to ignore Tannehill because I'm going to love Derrick Henry. It's just the way it is. But you can't ignore part of the offense and only love part of it if I think the Titans are going to crush, which they are.
Man, Trevor Lawrence. What would Trevor Lawrence have to get you to play him? Because the Titans have not been good. Carson Wentz got shut down, but Zach Wilson went for almost 300 and 2 touchdowns. He had 297 and 2 touchdowns against those jabronis. Like, no one wants to play Trevor Lawrence. I just want to bring him up and see what it would take for you guys to play that guy. You tell me. What is he, 5,800? It's just nothing. Nothing would get you to play, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be very low owned. I think Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. He has the rushing upside as he showed on Thursday. Just the whole range I feel so much safer with. If you told me he got me 23 points, I'll take that, I think, even in a GPP this week. So, yeah, I think 23 at that price. Then if he's getting 23, I'm probably just going to single stack him because you're thinking that he gets there on the ground a little bit. And then it would probably be, I mean, now without DJ Chark this year, the target share is definitely concentrated between Marvin Jones and LaVisca. So you have an easy stack right there. You look at the run back, then you can always run it back with Big Dog and stuff. So like, yeah, I get the Trevor Lawrence. He's going to be 2% owned. It just, I probably won't really get there with other people in his range, but you have easy stack with one of the two, and then you have easy run back. So, I mean, you can do worse, I think. 23 would probably be the number, though.
Yeah, 23. Okay, let's move on to our next position, guys. Rubio, let's hit you up here at running back. And I wonder, you're talking about Derrick Henry. If Christian McCaffrey's back, he's $300 less than Henry. He's 8,700. Henry's 9K. Dalvin Cook at this point against Detroit, 8,400. He's practicing as of right now. I mean, these top shelf guys, 8,400 for Cook, 86 Kamara, 87 McCaffrey, 9K Henry. Which one of these guys, if not both guys, are you taking? And why don't you start with CMC if you'll plug him in a lineup this week against that horrendous Philadelphia run defense. I mean, they are pitiful.
See, as someone who backed Clyde last week, it was nice to see that the Philly defense hasn't gotten better at stopping the run. I don't think that'll be the case this week. The problem is, I don't know if we're going to see a limited Christian McCaffrey or not. I could easily see them trying to ease his way into the offense a little bit. His touches were kind of exaggerated. They said they're running him into the ground and stuff. He had 30 touches in back-to-back games, or almost 30, I should say. And he was pacing 30 in the game he got hurt. I wonder if they're going to cut back on those touches, at least for a couple weeks, or maybe this week in particular, where he's still questionable. He's not a guarantee to play, where even if he's active, they might give Chuba Hubbard a little more, game time. It's just not something that I really want to trust. As much as a Christian McCaffrey fan I am, I can just see the work going to the other running backs. So for me, it's Derrick Henry in this spot here where, how many touches did he get? I know he had 34 carries or something like that last game. It's just kind of 33 carries. Like, he's also going to get it done a little bit in the passing game. For me, he's just 1A, and I have the salary to spend up. So I think it's Derrick Henry all day for me.
Derrick Henry all day for you. Title, is it Derrick Henry?
This is where you get in a cash or GPP question. Cash, it's easily Derrick Henry. In GPPs though, if no one's gonna play Christian McCaffrey, there's gonna be unknowns. I mean, I think coming into it, they're definitely not gonna say Matt Rule's not gonna say McCaffrey's 100% good to go. There's no chance he says that. If anything, they'll say he's a little limited, blah blah blah. But you look at last year, the same thing happened when he had his ankle injury. He played the first 2 games, then he came back in November 8th after about 2 months. And he had 18 carries for 69 yards, and he had 10 receptions for 82 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns. He broke the slate. He was less than 10% owned. He was playing the Chiefs. Everyone was worried about it. When McCaffrey suits up and plays, like, the guy just loves football so much, it's hard to keep this guy on the sidelines when Chuba Hubbard's getting you 2 yards a carry and McCaffrey comes in and gets you 10. If he's going to be in the single digits, which I haven't been on McCaffrey too much, but now the price is sitting there, I'm going to have a ton of McCaffrey in tournaments. I'm hoping he plays. He was in practice. He was in pads today, I saw. So trending in the right direction. That hamstring non-contact, it looks like it could have been pretty severe. Show us how much of a freak this guy is. Give me McCaffrey, who's cheaper than Derrick Henry, who's going to be 1/10 of the ownership in tournaments. I mean, 1/10 might be a little exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying. All day. So, yeah, I'm not worried. We've seen this story before. It's Christian McCaffrey. I'll play him.
So where do you want to go this week outside of the top guys? And let's not worry about cash too much right now.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of options, as there always is at running back, but a couple guys that stand out. Najee Harris at 6'9". I mean, anytime Big Ben's going to be back there, Najee Harris is going to be in consideration, especially always on DraftKings because of the PPR. So Big Ben can't move. Najee Harris is always sitting there for passes. I like him. DeAndre Swift at 6'1". I know Dan Campbell and each week it's going to be different for running back usage and blah, blah, blah. Swift is by far the most talented guy. Burned me last week. He was in my best GPP lineup. I needed to finally get there, but Swift didn't. He's 6,100 though. He gets Minnesota. I really like him. James Robinson against Tennessee. Tennessee, they can't stop anyone. 6K, I think he's very strong play. And then 3 other guys I'll mention a little cheaper. Chase Edmonds, he's 5,900. The guy's just a complete stud. So athletic. It's a little two running backfield, obviously, with Connor, which always keeps his ownership down, but he's still sub 6K. He's game script dependent, where if they're down, he's obviously going to be in catching the pass and stuff. If they're ahead, they're still using him as the back. So I love Edmonds and his upside. Damien Williams at 5,600. There's no David Montgomery there, so he just steps in, good price tag, catches balls out of the backfield too. Expect some dump downs from Fields. Then the last guy, Leonard Fournette at 5,200. I saw a tweet. This Miami defense has just gotten absolutely gashed by the running game. Fournette's coming off a really good game, so I'm not expecting a split or anything. It seems like Leonard Fournette's backfield, and he's 5,200 in a good game script, which you expect. What are they?
Does he have to score twice to hit value at this point? Or
5,200? No, not even close.
5,200 he needs a few catches and a touchdown.
Yeah, and 10.5 home favorites, perfect game script against a bad defense. I think that price is way too cheap. So there was a handful of guys that I'm looking at.
Okay. Rubio, we talked about those high price guys. Where else are you going this week?
Oh, I'm a Damien Williams fanboy, and so I drafted him in best ball. I got him in my fantasy team. I got a lot of Damien Williams to go, and I just think he'll slot in. He'll do really well for Chicago. I think he'll get all the passing work, and people like David Montgomery. You got to like Damien Williams for the similar tag, and I think almost all the workload now. I ended up playing Montgomery last week, and I think this is going to be one of those things where Damien Williams is going to eat now. He's one of my favorites. Another guy I'm kind of looking at, this is more tournament-esque and stuff. The Patriots are, significant favorites. They're like 8.5-point favorites. I know Damian Harris doesn't have the best, repertoire in terms of PPR and stuff, but, he has 2 touchdown upside. He won't be owned at all in any, really on DraftKings. On FanDuel, he might be a little higher owned, but I just think he's a guy who can easily get 2 touchdowns here. And you kind of look at it, you're like, oh, that makes sense. The Patriots love to run the ball. The Patriots, if they have a chance to run it 30 times, they will. And they'll protect Mac Jones a little bit too. I mean, I like the mention of DeAndre Swift, but Dan Campbell is tough to trust, isn't he? He's already shown that quite a bit. And it's just kind of a little bit It makes me uneasy to think, but I like that for tournaments. He has, great target equity, and that's another thing that's important, especially here. Last guy I kind of want to mention myself here, just because I was going through, he popped off the page. I know you like Chase Edmonds, and I don't mind him in that price range, but basically when I'm looking at in the 6,000 range here, if it's Christian McCaffrey misses, I think I'll be all over Chuba Hubbard. He had 15 carries for 74 yards last week. And he lost a lot of the work in the passing game, which is a worry. But I think this could be a game that Carolina kind of controls. If they get up early and that defense is good enough to hold Philly down, I think Hubbard could be in line for a big week. So we're going to see how obviously Christian McCaffrey's presence impacts the slate, but it'll be interesting to see how his absence would too as well.
Did you guys talk about Peterson?
I can't do it.
Why not?
I mean, did you see his snap share and stuff?
Yeah, it was 23 snaps.
Why can't you do it? He's been remarkable. Like at this point, why are you not buying into it?
The touchdown variance. I mean,
they aren't even on the slate, are they?
No, I don't think so.
But he had 23.
Jets,
he was
the
on
Jets?
He was on 20. Yeah, that's the London game in the morning.
What a horrible game that is too.
That's awful for
I still want to talk about him.
Yeah, he ran. He was out in the field for 23 of 75 snaps and fell in the box 3 times. Like that, those numbers are impossible to sustain. Yes. Like if he was getting 50% of the snaps and stuff, like, yeah, okay, he's explosive. He looks good. But man, I mean, he's 23 of 75, not even a third. Like that is really tough to trust. That TD, I mean, the touchdown variance is going to catch up. He can't keep doing that and performing at that rate. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. It's got to come back down to earth, but it's the Jets. But we don't have to worry about that. You're right. So Leonard Fournette, I like the call. I mean, he had 23 of the 29 touches in the backfield. So that's terrific too. It's a nice look there. Not messing with Sermon, right? None of the 49ers backfield.
Mitchell's probably back, so no chance.
Forget about that. And then the Thursday night game doesn't matter because it's Alex Collins night. So that could be kind of fun. But I'll move on to wide receiver here in just a second, and we'll get going on that. Hold on. JT Hayes.
I guess real quick, don't forget Joe Mixon's absence. Samaje Perine could be a big guy for value here at 4K. So I know it's gross, but you get almost, a majority of the touches for the most part for 4K. You can't really say no to that.
Yeah, I mean, and you expect him to be probably trailing a little bit. He can catch some dump offs. That's a good – he's confirmed out for the week.
Well, he missed practice today. He's most likely out. So
yeah, it didn't look very good last Thursday. That's for sure. I mean, it not like the injury itself looked pretty bad, but you could tell right when he got up, he was limping and his helmet went down pretty quick. Yeah. So I expect him to miss too.
All right, so wide receiver. The question is, I want to start down low. I want to see what kind of guys that we can throw in our lineup that aren't going to cost very much money. Is anyone popping up to you guys right now as it stands? I mean, Jacoby Myers, he's kind of in a nice spot this week. Darnell Mooney, you're staying away from Fields. I don't think you'll like Mooney if you go there. Randall Cobb. Let's talk about Randall Cobb for a second. Title. Was that just a 1 week thing? 5 of 6, caught 5 of 6 targets. He had 69 yards. He scored twice. He's obviously not going to score twice very often, but is he there? Like, is this his guy at number 2 in the passing game?
Yeah, that Randall Cobb big. That was really fun when I had Devontae and Aaron Jones and cash on FanDuel. So I still ended up getting there, but yeah, tilting. So when MVS was ruled out and in the IR early in the week, people were asking who's the biggest bumps to in Discord, and some people like Devontae. I'm like, no, Devontae's that doesn't do anything to him. He's Devontae. I said the biggest ones are Lazard and Randall Cobb, and sure enough, Randall Cobb. I mean, the snaps are not – they have so many wide receivers on Green Bay when MVS is healthy. They have Amari Rodgers they like to mix in once in a while. Like, Cobb's just not on the field as much. So, injury like this, now he's playing a lot more snaps. I didn't see the exact numbers on what it was, but he was on the field a ton. I'm not going to buy into it. Like, the offense is so concentrated around Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. Then you add in A.J. Dillon too. So, personally, I just don't really – target the secondary pieces on Green Bay. People want to chase that Cobb game. They can chase it. If there was a week to play it, thought it was the last week with Devontae being chalk and I mean, no, people weren't playing Cobb or Lazard. They thought the boost went to Adams, which wasn't the case. So I think it was more of a fluke. But, hey, it's Rodgers' best friend on the team. If he's open, Rodgers is going to want him to get him the ball. So I'm not going to do it, especially on a main slate, but maybe a showdown or something I would.
Would you even think about Cobb? Rubio?
No shot.
No shot. Okay.
You know what? I can't say no shot because I am interested in the Bengals, and I'll probably do a run back with Green Bay. And that run back's probably going to consist of Devontae Adams. But if you're like, hey, you got to play Randall Cobb, I mean, I probably wouldn't say no because it correlates so well.
I will say, I got to take a little L right now. Not a full L, not like a Big T Carson Wentz, but AJ Green's proven me wrong. So
yeah,
I wanted
thank you.
Been good.
Thank you.
He's been good, and Kyler likes him. He's been impressive at a really loaded wide receiver spot in Arizona with a lot of talent. So Rubio, got to take my L. When I watched that touchdown too, sitting with my buddies who watch the podcast and stuff, I was like, man, Rubio's right. I got to take my L this week.
Mangone did not like my AJ Green call this week. I do like AJ Green again. He's the number.
I'm never gonna play him because I've already.
He's 5,100 now. I don't know if I can.
5,100, but he's getting 6 and 7 targets.
Hey, that's not very good for 5,100.
I think that's great because he can get in the end zone. DeAndre Hopkins still not 100%.
That whole range. So you're saying you'd play him over?
Let's go. Let's go in that range.
Laviska, Waddle, Marvin Jones, and stuff.
Laviska. Yep. Go for it, Rubio, because usually Visco's the first one I was going to say.
I'm looking in that right now. I'm looking in that range. I don't see myself dipping the chip below 4K, but you got Laviska at 4,800 who looked really good against the Bengals, and this is a script that probably benefits him. And, you know, the Jaguars had no reason to throw the ball in the second half, and they didn't. And they only had 3 possessions. It was a very slow game, and Laviska still put up 6 catches for 99 yards. I think this is something that, you know, you see him kind of explode a little bit in a trailing script. Another guy, you have T. Higgins there. You have Tyler Boyd. I'm a huge fan of the Bengals. If T. Higgins is active, he's the number 1 guy there. He's going to be a number 1 red zone, you know, receiver. I know Jamar Chase has his presence and stuff, but I'm a big fan of the Bengals. And then you all of a sudden had Jalen Waddle in that range after 13 targets 2 weeks ago.
Rubio, let me just stop you here. If you're rolling out Kyler Murray, and everybody is saying AJ Green is shit, despite the fact that he has been the number 2 guy there, you're not playing him at all. I mean, you're just wiping him off the slate. If you're rolling with Murray, or even if you're going with Trey Lance as a run back,
he's been outscored by Max Williams 2 of those past 3 weeks. I think there's better. You need 20 plus out of your receiver with your quarterback. And despite my love for AJ Green, and I think he's revived his career, I liked him at 3,700. 18's enough at 3,700, but he needs 2 touchdowns almost to crack 20, 25. And that's where the risk kind of, you can get that in floor from a guy like Laviska or Jalen Waddle or Boyd. And you need touchdowns from Green. That's the issue.
And you might not get them.
I'd rather hunt that with running backs than wide receivers.
Okay. Well, can I interest you in some Quintez Cephas at 4,300? No, because he needs like 16 points, and he's not going to get you there. I'm just rolling down. I'm going to start throwing names out at you. And KJ Osborne out. Is Lazard dead to you now? Title? Is he just?
Same thing with Cobb. I mean, he's going to have his weeks where he gets there, but it's not worth playing Russian roulette with these guys, I think.
Tim Patrick, Rondell Moore. I'm just throwing guys out. Robbie. All right, what are we doing? Robbie Anderson at 5K. At least last week they tried to get him involved. They gave him 11 targets because he had 3, 6, and 2, and then last week was 11 targets. Is there any way you can go to Robbie Anderson this week? 5K DraftKings?
I think you can. I saw his air yards. He is one of the highest air yards on the time's going to come. Stats like that matter. Obviously you can't, your offense just can't be DJ Moore and you expect to win a bunch of ball games. Like Matt Rule knows it. They know. Sam Darnold knows they got to have another weapon. Obviously it's Robbie Anderson. 5K, you definitely can do worse than him. So
does
I think
Cass being in hurt or help Robbie?
See, probably I would rather McCaffrey out if I'm playing Robbie Anderson because you expect more passes. But either way, I don't think DJ Moore can get the same target share and sustain the same production, and it has to go somewhere. You expect it to go to some Robbie. So that's how I see it.
I like your mention of air yards because there's a guy we haven't mentioned yet who was above Robbie Anderson on that list who absolutely blew it up last week, or sucked, I should say. No, Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
Junior.
Yeah, well, Baker just absolutely missed him bad multiple times. But, yeah, he was first, I think I saw.
I'm big on Odell. 6K against this Chargers team where, games can explode in terms of points. I love Odell again. I like that he dudded. People can get off him. I think we see a double-digit target game, and I'm all for Odell.
I'm just going to throw out Mooney then because he saw 118 air yards on
Fair enough.
125
You got reason.
real yards. And now you've got Justin Fields in there who targeted him 7 times and Allen Robinson 3 times. Now it's a 1-game sample. I get it. But if we're just going to talk air yards, and they got the Raiders this week who got pummeled by Deontay Johnson, Hollywood Brown, all these guys, and now Darnell Mooney is going to go out there. Nobody's playing the Mooney. Nobody's going Mooney. But if we're just going air yards at 4,700, he could get you 20.
I like it. To be honest, I mean, I was on him last week. The thing which, I was literally debating him for cash last week because he was 3,900. And I love the spot. And I just loved it. Now, of course, he has that game. He gets 800 price increase. So, now I'm like, man, did I miss? You know what I mean? Because I was already debating it, and I see that game, and the price goes way up and stuff. So, I like it. I get it. I'm probably not going to go Fields this week. So, I'm more than likely just probably going to cross off that whole Bears game, which won't land me on Mooney. But he's in that weird price range, too, at 4,700 where – no one's going to play him over LaVisca or T. Higgins or Boyd or whatever. So you'll get him very low owned, and he has that upside. He always can run by somebody, and Fields loves him. So makes sense, Holden. Maybe put him in that 40 people tournament that the coordinators did.
I feel like
us.
You're baiting me now, so I'm not going to do that.
Do it.
I mean,
Do
his upside can win you a
Well, here,
GPP.
I'd rather play a different guy at 4K, though. And what about Kadarius Toney? Let's just discuss him.
Don't play him.
Don't play Kadarius Toney, even if Shepard and Slayton are gone.
Even if Shepard, Slayton, their 5th string, their 6th string, their 7th string, their 8th strings, all out, and he's the only one healthy, still don't play him.
Rubio, do you have the disdain for Kadarius Toney that our co-host Title does?
I kind of do because I didn't get the Giants pick at the time. And it reminds me a lot of John Ross, who's actually on the Giants as well, funny enough. I just think, when the Bengals took John Ross, it was like, oh, great. We got a guy who's fast. And what else can Toney provide? He had one good week. I just don't see it happening again. I'm not a big fan.
Who are you paying up for this week? Debo leads the world in receiving yards at 7,100. McLaurin's at 7,400. DJ Moore is now up to 7,500, but he's been worth it. Jefferson, 7,700. This is all DK. Hopkins, 7,600. And Devontae Adams, 8,200 against Cincinnati this week. Rubio, who are you paying up for?
If top 2 and he's not 2, Devontae Adams.
Yeah, just go back to it.
With you.
Even in tournament?
Yeah, I love that Bengals game, so I'm going to run it back with Devontae.
He's just such a badass. The only guy that I think is in a better spot or has a chance to really take him down would be Jefferson. Because now he's getting the volume. He's got 3 straight with a touchdown, and he's got the Detroit Lions. My only concern is that, they're off to that bad start. They don't really seem like they know what they're doing, and they could run the ball a whole bunch with Cook. But, guys, to me, Jefferson's in a great spot too. And, Title outside of that, these are just the big guys up top. You're probably going to have one of them, right? And it's going to be Devontae Adams?
Yeah, you're talking to the biggest my 2 favorite receivers, obviously. So you got me a little 6 to midnight. I'm glad people are hopping on the Justin Jefferson bandwagon. What a complete stud this guy is. I love him in tournaments. I say you play him every week. He somehow comes in single digits every single week, and he just gets there. So, yeah, I like him. Devontae, he's going to be owned, though, but he's my top receiver of the week. I'll just keep going back to the man and keep playing him. He hasn't really got there for me as much this year as I wish, but he's 8,200. He gets the Bengals defense, which I'm not worried about at all. In a good game, I think. I think the Bengals put up points too. I'm with Rubio, so I love Boyd. I love Chase. I play Boyd and Chase over Higgins personally. It's so hard. You're flipping coins, I think. So I think it kind of like Lockett, DK. I just always play. Tyler Boyd's treated me so well for many years, and I love Jamar Chase. So I like those guys in the mid-tier a little, but same game up top. Devontae, I love. Couple other guys, and Yeah, outside of the 8K range, even 7K range, I probably am not going to be in there too much. I'm fine going back to DJ Moore, Debo, fine. But like, I like some of these other guys, like Keenan Allen, 6,500. Sign me up all day. CeeDee Lamb, 6,200. Chris Godwin is 6,300, which I don't love it as much as the other two, but I still think we get a little Godwin bounce back. Amari Cooper, he's 6,100. I'm just kind of focusing on certain teams, the Cowboys receivers, the Bengals receivers, Devontae, and then a couple one-offs, obviously. A name we haven't even thrown out that's just a huge misprice. Curtis Samuel's min price at 3K this week against New Orleans. So, like,
he might not play though. Just to let you know, his groin's bothering him again.
Oh, really?
He's just they just can't get this guy right now. And he's obviously, battled it a little bit, but just keep an eye on that. If you want to play Samuel, don't wipe him off the slate yet, but he aggravated it again a little bit.
I hope he doesn't play because he's min priced at 3K. I think that'll lead to a lot of similar builds where you're paying up at similar spots and punt. I mean, we'll get to tight end. I think it's a week people are going to pay down without Kelsey and stuff like that. So I hope he's not out. I hope he is out. So a lot of the people don't gravitate to the same builds, but GPPs, you can always exploit that. But way to mention that. I didn't know that. I didn't hear that he aggravated this week. I expected he was going to get more.
Bothering him here, and I just got it. It's still not right, is what it is. They liked what they saw out of him, but they're still going to have to limit his work.
He didn't practice today, so yeah.
And the thing is, like, in tournaments like that, this is more of a cash game play that'll get you things. Like in a tournament, he only played 25% of snaps last week. He was targeted 4 targets and he had all 4 receptions or whatever, I believe. I know he had 4 targets, but like, I don't think the upside's there in tournaments that I would go there. In cash games, it's more of like, if it gets you Derrick Henry, it gets you Devontae Adams, like stuff like that. So cash only. I'm glad you said that though, because I will definitely not have any in GPPs now.
He could get you 4 targets and 4 catches, but if he's not running, he's another thoroughbred. Like, he has to be right around 100% to be completely effective, and you're just not going to see it. Title, was there anybody else we're missing here?
I like your Jacoby Myers call too. That was the last one I mentioned. He's obviously Mac Jones #1. They're in the best game spot. Like I said, I would play Mac Jones over Fields easily this week. If you're playing Mac Jones, which I think you can do worse on a slate like this. Like if there's one week Mac Jones wins you a tournament, it's probably this week. But yeah, I think Jacoby Myers, he's obviously their wide receiver 1. So Cowboys guys, Bengals guys, Devontae, Keenan Allen, Visca, and then Jacoby Myers, what I'll say.
Okay, very good. Rubio, final words at wide receiver. You moving on to tight ends now.
It's looking a little bit, it doesn't happen often. It's looking a little bit like a 4 wide receiver week. It's a little early to say it, but It's definitely in the cards this week.
I will say I've done that every single week in cash games and tournaments on DraftKings.
Really?
Yep.
I'm surprised by that.
Know what?
The league's changed.
4 title. I've done 3 or 4, come to think of it.
Yeah, people don't realize it yet. Like they just
DraftKings only.
DraftKings only. FanDuel's always 3 running backs for me because of the touchdown equity and half-point PPR compared to full. But people just don't realize, like, they still think wide receiver is risky. I'm transparent about it. I said it before week 1 on the cash show. Like, I've done it 4 for 4 in GPPs and cash games. So it's going to probably be another one for me. It's not like a rule I make. It's just how it ends up for me. But I know I'm different. Like Mangone, I don't know if he went 4 receivers once this week in cash. And, like, I'm usually on a different build from some of the other guys that are usually similar and pros just because I do that. And I don't think they're ready to do that yet. But just an interesting point. I agree with you, though. The upside with the receivers is way bigger than running backs in the NFL now.
All right, boys, let's move on to tight end.
Keep going to Rubio. He was talking about the 4 receivers.
I interrupted him.
Oh, no, I was done. I just think, like, the more I look, I'm thinking I'm surprised that it's been 4 weeks for you, Title, but it kind of makes a lot of sense that sort of some people I talk to, they've been going 4 wide receivers as well, but I think I'm going to do it this week. Hearing you say that makes me more confident in the idea that my main build to be 4 wide receivers. So I like that.
Because there's every bit the upside. And really in cash games title on DraftKings, it used to be all running backs have the upside because they have the ball in their hand more. I don't think that's the case anymore, though.
There's not as many running back dominant situations. Yeah, bell cows like there used to be in the NFL. People don't want their running backs to get hit. Two backfield, like that's just what people do. And receivers, with how much people sling it around nowadays. And I mean, the runs are passes. You watch the Packers and how they do Devontae Adams. They're literally, it's a run play. They're stacking the box. Devontae's one-on-one. You sling it out there. More teams are doing it now. You get your free point from catching the ball, and then you break a tackle and you already have 10 plus. Like they use passing as a running play nowadays. Josh Allen, the Bills do it all the time. So like people just I don't think they're understanding it yet, but the league has changed so much, and you have to adjust to the league.
And you got to adjust to DFS players too. I mean, just the way the roster construction is. I honest to God think we're a little ahead of the curve, and that the more data that comes out, I think the more people are going to get out of their old habits and look at it and say, wow, you know what? Things have changed. And they change pretty quickly too. Like it's been a 3 or 4 year thing. It's not like it's been a 10, 15 year sample here. It's the last couple of years where you're starting to see these offenses morph into more of a short passing game to replace the run. They're still running, but there's teams that just use that to do it. And you just mentioned Buffalo, and that's one of those teams.
Well, you see what Staley said in his interview about
that's why everybody's happy about him. You use the run just to be physical, and you don't need it for play action. Yes, it's what we've all been saying.
Yep. Well, yeah, you finally get one smart guy, and then he looks like a genius compared to these other guys. But it's nice to hear someone with a brain, and I'm loving my Chargers future even more. I mean, they got all the pieces. We'll see, though.
I'd love to hear him have a conversation with Gruden sometime. Just how bad. It's like, no, you got to run to establish the run so you can have you can have play action. And Staley just comes out and goes, no, you don't. Here's your numbers, buddy. You really don't. You're a dinosaur. Nice start, but they're not going anywhere with the Raiders. Okay. Let me let you know, members never win. Guess what? We had some monster takedowns this last week. Dave the Champ, 84K. Just a Joe to you, 240K in NFL. Matt S, 305K. We had 3 monster hits, and I'm sure there's other guys that didn't hit us up and say, hey, I won all this money. So a lot of winners. KMB Squid got 2,600. Jay Bones, 5K. A lot of winners this past week, guys, and it's always good. You know, I wish I would win the 305K sometime, but if I'm not going to, it's cool to see our subscribers do it. It really is. It's like, all right, you're part of the team, you're crushing it, and this is what we want to see. Okay, if you watched the Up to Lock show last week, I have been pretty good with some of these sleepers this year, and I loved Dawson Knox last week, and I love Dawson Knox again. I think he's going to be more popular.
Not on this slate.
What's that? He's not even on the slate because it's the Chiefs and the
Sunday Night Football.
And the Bills. Yep. So then I'll just move on to Dalton Schultz, my other guy. Is Dalton Schultz going to start getting ownership is my question. We haven't seen much out of CeeDee Lamb the last couple of weeks. Amari Cooper's messing with his ribs. They're running quite a bit. But all in all, this guy's getting the targets. He's averaging 6 targets a game. He's averaging 5 catches a game. And he scored 3 touchdowns the last 2 weeks. Like, has he just fallen off the ledge here, Rubio? Am I hopping on Dalton Schultz again? Is that just too much? Or is he, in your estimation, a legitimate top 3 option on the Cowboys and a legitimate option in DFS this week? Let me go find this. 4,400. He is priced just ahead of Gesicki and just behind Goddard.
I don't hate it. Like I don't, just because that, you know, we haven't seen Cooper and we haven't seen Lamb really all that much, but it's not something I'm going to do at all. If I'm going to play a tight end, you know, which you have to, of course, but like I'm going to stick between 3,300 and lower. I just don't see a case made, you know, for an extra 4,400 for Dalton Schultz when, you know, he maxes out at 8 targets and he still splits time with Blake Jarwin, and maybe that CD and Amari Cooper actually see a tick up in usage. I just think there's a lot of things that can go wrong for Schultz, and there's a lot of things that can go right for these lower guys for the most part.
Okay. Let's go, Title. Where do you want to go at tight end this week? Is it a pay up spot? Is it pay down? We're not talking cash. We're talking GPPs here. Can we go back to Hawkinson? Waller's the highest priced guy. Gesicki's been on fire. He goes up against a Tampa Bay team that's kind of get shredded by the tight end position. So give me the lowdown here.
Yeah, so I do think, I mean, knowing cash construction obviously helps so much in GPPs. I don't think people aren't going to go Waller and cash. It's going to be mainly a pay down. And so if they're paying down, I'll pay up in tournaments for Darren Waller 7,300. I mean, him and Kittle, I think, are the two best tournament. Now, Kittle might be, I mean, he will be owning cash games somewhat, and I am considering it a little bit at 5,600. But their upside compared to some of these guys that are going to get ownership is just, it's night and day. Like, people are going to be playing Cole Kmet, Jared Cook, Evan Ingram, Jonnu Smith. Like, some of these guys are going to be punted, which, yeah, I get it. I think Evan Ingram's fine. I think Jared Cook's fine after what we saw. But, like, they're not going to give you 102 like Darren Waller and George Kittle. We know that they can do. And if they do that, you're going to need them to win a GPP at tight end this week. So I'm hunting upside. We have salary relief at quarterback. We listed multiple 5K guys at wide receiver. We have Damien Williams is cheap, like Fournette's cheap. We have enough cheap guys where I'm going to get different and just pay either Waller or Kittle, I think. Try and get my big game. Waller's playing in a dome, or they're playing in Vegas against Chicago. Like, I'm going to hunt the upside at a position a lot of people are punting. It'll get me on a different build and stuff too. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Okay. Rubio, you're off Dalton Schultz. Who are your guys?
I like the idea of hunting for upside, but even then, with guys who absolutely just fit my build, CJ Uzomah, who's fresh off that Thursday night game where he just killed the Jaguars. I know T. Higgins is going to be back to kind of hurt him a little bit, but at the same time,
don't do that.
What do you mean don't do that? You have Burrow and you have a great stack, and you get a 3K tight end who just went absolutely bonkers last game. It's not as much chasing. I don't think it's chasing. I really don't. I'm a big, as you can see.
What's going to happen when he gets you 2.5? And then next week you're going to come back. I'm going to forget about it. You're going to get away with it.
He better
here's the thing. He's 3K. I can take 2.5 from a tight end. I took 5.3 from my tight end last week. I'm trying to think who it was. Ferkser. I played Ferkser, and there's another guy who had 5 targets last game, and it's a red zone target for Ryan Tannehill. At 3.3, you have Cameron Brate, who just had 6 targets against the New England Patriots, and now with Gronk likely to miss, he'll get another 6 to 7 targets against the Dolphins. I just think there's so many of these tight ends who have touchdown upside who will pay dividends, especially if these top guys don't go off. They're going to be the ones in the build that win it all.
There's 15 viable tight ends, I think, this week that can be in the GPP winning lineup, honestly, without Kelsey. And
not CJ Uzomah.
I mean, at the end of the day, as much as I'm ripping on it, like, I think it's a little chase. He's the Bengals guy, so I'm not going to argue it. But there's a week for tight end. Like, he could be. I mean, he can. I hope you have him in our 40-person tournament, and I get a little ahead.
Higgins is probably going to be back this week, and he's going back to doing nothing.
And the Joe Mixon's going to miss. That they're going to be a pass funnel this week, and they're going to throw the ball 45 times instead of under 30 like they have been. The usage is going to go up for all these guys across the board. I'm a big fan of them. I keep saying it. The Bengals are going to ship it this week.
Right.
I like the receivers. I'll just stick there, though. And
so
let's talk about
let's go back to that for a minute because I'm done with tight end. I think my guy is probably going to be Gesicki way down low, and I don't know what to do with Max Williams at this point.
You said Dalton Schultz. You have to play him now.
Dalton Schultz, definitely Dalton Schultz.
Gesicki's only 200 less.
Yeah, Gesicki's another guy that I think is right there in the mix at that price point. Ertz has been scoring, which is, I mean, he didn't score last week. He was very close to scoring at 34.
Got called back, I think.
I'd rather, huh?
You got a touchdown call back, I believe.
Yeah, that's what it was. I'd rather go with him than Uzomah. I mean, shit, give me extra $400 at a guy that is a touchdown target for Jalen Hurts. I think I'd rather do that. But anyways, well, I'm over it. So, two things. Do you say Bengals or Bengals, Rubio? Because a lot of people say Bengals.
Cincinnati Bengals. I say Bengals.
Bengals. And you also say Jaguars. I don't understand that. They're
Jaguars.
Jaguars.
It's that little in between. I don't really have an accent, but it's that southern drawl that really pulls me in.
You do have a southern drawl.
It's a southern drawl.
So Boyd, T. Higgins. That's really it, right? Jamar Chase. So those 3 in order, stacking with Burrow this week. He was number 2 basically behind Chase.
Here's what I want, and here's what I'll probably do. But it would go Boyd, Chase, Higgins, Uzomah. I think Boyd's number 1, and Chase really took the top off the defense, and he has been, as he has been doing this season. And it's opening up a lot of things underneath for Boyd, and we just don't know completely about Higgins' health. But Either way, I'm happy with any of the four.
All right. What do you got here, Title, with these three guys?
With Rubio, except I'll just play three of them. Boyd is my number one. He just continues to print. $500 discount from Chase. Chase, number two. Love his upside that he's shown. And then Higgins, number three. But the thing is, like, Higgins is the cheapest. He's $5K. I mean, we saw what he's done in the beginning of the year. I'm not saying at all Higgins is a way worse play. Like, it's really close. Point per dollar, he might even be one of the best. I'm a Boyd guy. I'm a Chase guy. Can't play them all. Best ball, Jamar Chase and Higgins were in the same range too. I went Jamar Chase, like just a stance I have, but I do like the Bengals receivers. I think that's a good question. Tyler Boyd though, man, that guy, what a hell of a football player he is. So I'm going to keep playing Tyler Boyd.
How many catches does Adams get this week?
15.
Come on.
I mean, obviously, like I wouldn't set the line in Vegas at 15.
His line 7.5.
I think I think that he absolutely shreds. But yeah, 12. That sounds a little more reasonable.
And over 90 yards, right?
Yeah, I hope so. If he's getting 12 catches under 90, something's going on with the Packers.
I'm going to put this out here right now. The Bengals have not thrown the ball more than 32 times this season. I will take every over on these Bengals wide receivers, honestly. I just think that if they'll go down early, I hope. I very much hope.
I was going to say, game script, too, is with you. Like, you hope that happens, too.
I could just see the Bengals just absolutely throwing the ball 50, 55 times, and all of a sudden Burrow just has 400 yards passing, and these wide receivers are just going nuclear. I'm talking myself into it. I'm manifesting it a little bit, but I just see this as a game where the Bengals haven't had a chance to go off yet, and they finally will. In terms of fantasy.
And I'm with you. The Packers defense absolutely sucks. Jair's now most likely out. Like, Kevin King's going to be in there, and whoever's guarding Kevin King is going to score touchdowns. It's just – I like Stokes, but outside of them, like, I'm with you. I just hope the weather, which obviously it's Wednesday, we don't know. But now we're getting in the time of the year where you got to start monitoring weather. We saw Buffalo a little bit last week and stuff. So Cincinnati's one of the spots. I know in the Midwest, Wisconsin, it's supposed to be pretty nice this week. So I'm hoping there's no rain, but only thing to monitor. I'm with you, though.
Thank God it's fall. I'm ready. I love this time of year. It's the best. No doubt about
NBA,
it.
2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks.
NBA is back in 2 weeks.
Right now. I'm doing preseason
right
now.
You are.
I'm in the chat and playbooking.
How's that going? How's the NBA preseason going for you?
First slate, I crushed. Second slate, we got refunded because someone pulled the fire alarm in Milwaukee.
Saw that. Nowara was
kind of nice.
off and all that, too. You didn't have them?
I had Nowara, but I was gonna lose money because I just I built a few lineups and stuff, and I'll tell you, it was nice to see an extra refund there. So good mojo so far.
All right, Mojo boys, RPS 25, RPS Heater 25% off your first monthly payment. Title, what do you got as far as shows already out and coming up this week?
On the Monday for NFL Monday every week with Tyler and Spread breaking down how the week went, and then Monday Night Football. Tuesday I'm on the cash preview look ahead with Mango and Hoop. Then today the NFL Spread, and then that's it for what I got for football. So I mean I'm in Discord and stuff. I'm on the cash chart for FanDuel NFL, so I'll have all that stuff up. But MMA this week on Saturday, and then I'll be doing a bunch of the NBA shows and NBA content as well. So. It's a busy time of year, but it's a fun one.
Wonderful time. It's the best time of year.
Yep.
Rubio, what do you got going on right now?
Showdown, and like Title said, NBA is coming up. We got a lot of large soccer contests as well. So it's the busiest time of the year, but also the most fun. And I can't wait.
All right, boys. Wonderful to see you. You can catch me. I did the picking winners with Keg and Mangone. That's up on the YouTube channel tomorrow. So if you're listening to this, that would be today. Cash show, Mangone and Hoop. We're doing that one. And then, of course, the Wood Show and the Up to Lock. So we got a lot of content here for the National Football League. What is Rubio? What are you doing, Rubio?
Well, I don't know what you're saying at all.
That was weird.
Sheesh.
Title, what was that?
I don't know what he's doing. I put myself on mute and was just laughing. Yeah, he was doing something.
That was so weird.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
All right, before we get out of here, I want to hear what you having for dinner. Holden, you're having pancakes again.
No,
That's
I'm not. I'm taking a girl out tonight. We're gonna go have bar food and play some trivia.
Ooh, bar food's always good. Get a little wings.
Yeah. I don't know about wings. We'll figure something out. I'm really in the mood for a cheeseburger.
Well, that's bar food. So there you go.
That's bar food.
Rubio. What you making?
My
Ramen?
car has a check engine light, so my boss is driving me to our meeting with Papa John's there. Stuffed crust pizza.
You eat like shit. You eat like
Papa
a 4-year-old.
It's Papa John's. Fuck you.
It's horrible pizza. It's
No,
racist pizza. It's if you
Papa
eat
John-
that pizza, it makes it
that's
racist.
fair enough.
It's Papa John's is better than pizza and that stuff.
That's not Pizza Hut isn't even pizza. It's fucking cardboard with like government supplied cheese and tomatoes. Yeah, it's just so gross. Pizza Hut's not pizza. Papa John's not good, but
Papa John's is solid. I'll give you that, Rubio.
All right, fair enough.
Papa
What are you
John's
having?
when you're just wasted and there's nothing else to eat. I'll eat.
I'm having meatloaf. So
Ugh.
meatloaf? No,
Uh,
I'll take
I don't
meatloaf.
eat meatloaf.
I'll take over a nice home cooked meal from the mom before.
Okay,
Only
all
got
right.
like,
I've
only got
never
like 2
had
weeks of
meatloaf.
this.
It's a
What?
loaf of meat.
What?
Yeah,
It's
it's
not-
just like a meat, and you put it together and you throw it on a plate. It's
And
gross.
then she makes a nice little second sauce to put on. It's I think it's like cream and mushroom soup, but she puts a little
Okay.
stuff in there. Then a nice, I mean,
Yeah, it
Holden,
sounds classy. It sounds classy. I like it.
It's
not necessarily classy, but it's good.
Well, meatloaf's classy as fuck.
Meatloaf is classy as fuck.
You learn something new every day.
And just to go over our bets again, Rubio and Title have a head-to-head in the coordinator free roll for $100. Rubio decided to think that Susie and Steve Boynton will beat Title. There's $50 head-to-head on those. And Uncle T is too much of a vagina to bet me because he knows that I'll beat him, and that would not be good for him, and everybody would make fun of him. So it's too bad. Uncle T, I know you watch and listen to this. Wipe your vagina and bet me. That would be the wonderful thing. I would love that very much. For Rubio and Title, I'm Holden. Simon, get us out of here and keep running. Pew.
And Taylor Heineke, dude can play whenever he gets a chance. He kind of shows out from a fantasy perspective for sure. This Washington offensive line has been really, really solid. I think they have the second or third lowest adjusted sack rate in football. No pass rush from Atlanta. Like you mentioned, even worse secondary. Heineke is mobile. He's a pretty good athlete. He'll take off and run a little bit. He's a candidate to score with his legs. He's got the connection with McLaurin, clearly, right? McLaurin, every quarterback has the connection with McLaurin. He's just that good. I think he'll roast this Atlanta secondary. I like this game on turf for McLaurin, right? He's a turf kind of player, just an explosive athlete. You put him one-on-one on turf, and he's going to win that route, right? The majority of the time against the people guarding him. So I think McLaurin's an awesome play, and I like Washington to put up points. And then Washington's defense, which we expected to be good coming into the year, most people did, myself included, has been awful in almost every metric. I do expect them to improve, but how much? I think they're probably a middle of the pack defense, maybe at best at this point, certainly not elite. I don't trust the Atlanta offense. Matt Ryan, I think, is kind of in that Ben Roethlisberger boat where it's just hard to trust it. So I don't want to go in on Atlanta kind of in a full game stack mode. But yeah, Kyle Pitts I think is a good play here. I don't mind Ridley. Maybe even CPAT if you're going with Washington. But
if you have the trust in Taylor Heineke playing him, you have to at least believe that Matt Ryan is playable. You don't have to play Matt Ryan, but you have to believe he's playable at that price tag because you're kind of saying that you think Matt Ryan can score and the Atlanta offense can score enough to keep it a somewhat back and forth game, if that makes sense for everyone.
This is one where I think, JSU, that I'm kind of putting, I guess, my faith a little bit in the odds on this one, right? Where they're saying this game is supposed to be close, 48 total, and I don't have faith in Matt Ryan, but Matt Ryan's been getting it done for a long, long time. So he just needs one decent game, and you're fine with the Heineke play.
Vegas might. Vegas seems to have a little faith in him, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
1 point spread. Yeah.